Okay, hi everyone. My name is Jason Sim, and I will be your instructor for this class. So here's the first lecture right here. You can download this on Canvas also under the class exercise number 1. To open up the IDE, you have to type in Visual, and you'll see the ribbon that looks like this. If you click on the Visual Studio 2019, it can be a 2022 version also. So here, you want to click on to create a new project. And once you do that, you want to change up here to Python. So it has to say Python, Windows, and also console. And you'll notice that here, you want to click on the Python application. So when you click on the next button, and then here you can name your project name. So here I'll give it something like Module 1 Lab, something like that. The location, you'll notice that the location, this is the default location. However, you can actually click on the three-dotted button and then save it to your desktop or your favorite place. But if you do, I would highly recommend that you create a folder by right-clicking and pointing to New, and then click on Folder. And here I could say something like Python class. And here you could just double-click on that folder, and then below here, click on the Select Folder icon. And from here, you click on the Create button, and that's all you got to do. All right, so let's go ahead and complete some of the labs here for class for module 1. Let me just bump this here really quick. And let me just pull this over right here. There we go. Okay. Let me just get settled down on some of these things here really quick. Okay, here we go. You can actually move these over to Solution Explorer just to give you more room. You can also increase the font size or decrease the font size by holding down your control button and then using your mouse scroller like this here. Now, Python is a very popular language, and you'll notice that the objectives, we're going to go into the basics of Python. The first one is basically something called a print command. So here, if I type in print, and then here, I'm going to say my name. Okay. And this is going to allow Python to pretty much print your name. If you click on the start button right here on the top, it's going to actually run the application, and you'll notice that it prints your name right there. It says press any key to continue, and that's what I'll do. Now, if you click on the enter button, here I'm going to type in print again, and here I'll type in something like 1, 2, 3 full circle drive. Now you'll notice that if I click on the start button again, it's going to print Jason Sim 1, 2, 3 full circle drive. So basically that's what the print command does. So let's do the other one that we see on the lab here. And here I'm just going to type in, and you can actually put in double quotation, Santa Ana, California. Okay, and so what's the difference between the double quotation here and the single quotation? It's the same, it's going to treat it as a character value. So here, if I click on the run button again, you'll see here, Jason Sim 1, 2, 3, and so forth. And you can close the application just like this here. So here, if you look at number 2, using the double quotation to enclose string literals. So basically, these are strings here that you can see. Now, the challenge exercise here, which you do not have to submit, is basically just a challenge exercise. Write a statement that displays your first and last name, which we already did here, your first name and your last name here. So we don't have to do that. Now, if you look at here under number 4, you can use comments. And in Python, you use comments by using a pound sign like this here. So I am printing my information. And you'll notice that in Python, comments turn green. It's just like for note-taking for programmers. So when you run the application, it's going to ignore the comment, and it's going to give you the same results here. So as you can see, just like this here. So if you go to number 5 here, you can actually use a variable name. A variable name is a name that's stored in the computer's memory. So something called a random access memory. So here, if I type in name, that's a variable name. So here I might want to do something like Jake Doe, something like this here. All right, so here if I say name Jake Doe, and you'll notice that I didn't put a semicolon. So here I'm going to say age equals, I'm going to say double quotation, and then here I'll say 45. So I have two variables here. One is called name and the other is called age. And my information that I want to put into those variables is basically what you see there, Jake Doe and 45. And here I'm just going to create a third variable. That's going to look like 123 street, just like this here. And now what we could do here is print the variables. So I'm going to say print name, which is basically Jake Doe. The plus sign means concatenation. I want to put the name and a string with a comma in between. And then here, I want to put the age. I'm going to do the same thing, concatenation. And I want to put a comma. I want to bind pretty much the name, comma, age, comma, plus the address. So as you can see, it's very similar to the one we're doing here, except here we're utilizing variable names. You'll notice that when you run it, it's going to say Jake Doe, comma, 45, comma, 123 street, and so forth. And you can actually go on and on with that, so as you can see. So now you'll notice that everything is a string. Age is really not a string. Age should be basically a number value, so as you can see. Now there's something called a str function, which is going to allow you to convert a string. And this is what I mean by here. If you look on page 3, right here, I put a str age. The reason why I here is because age equals 25 without the double quotations. So here, if I go ahead and do this one more time, I'm going to delete the double quotation like this here. Okay. Now age is treated as a whole number. Now, if I go ahead and run this one more time, okay, you'll notice that here I get an error message that says must be str not integer. So in this case here, it's saying it's an integer, it's not a string. So basically, we're treating this as a string here because here I have a string here. Now here I have to put the str function. So that's going to convert. So the str function is going to convert the string into an integer. And all we have to do is to surround it by a double quotation. I'm sorry, parentheses. So this is going to convert basically the string to a number value. So if you go ahead and run this here, we shouldn't get that message no more. Now 45 is basically treated as a number value instead of a string. All right, so now if you go ahead and look at this here, you'll notice that we're going to input into the Python. Notice that we use this input function to allow the user to enter the data. So here I'm going to say comment, get the user's first name. Enter user's first name. And here I'm just going to type in first name equals, now there's something called an input function. So the input function is going to allow Python, or it's going to allow the user to enter something. So here I'm going to say enter first name, just like this here. All right, I'm going to say last name equals input again. And here I'm going to say enter last name. Now what we want to do is to get the output, obviously. So I'm going to say print, and I'm going to say hi, and then here I'm going to concatenate the first name plus comma plus concatenation last name. And that's going to be my output right there. So this input function is going to allow us to enter something, enter the first name and also enter the last name. So if you go ahead and run this again, you'll notice that here it says enter the first name. So here I'm going to say something like Jane, enter the last name, Doe, and you notice that it says hi, Jane Doe. So this is the key here. It's basically something called an input function. Okay. So as you can see, it's very easy to do. Now, there's different ways you can use the input function. So let's see here. So we already did this here, right here. If you look at number 9, you'll notice that we put age integer. So here, I'm going to just put it right here. So here, I'm going to say age equals integer. An integer is a data type for entering number values. And now here we put basically the word input, just like this here. And here it says, I'm going to say enter your, I'll just say enter age, something like this. Now here I put integer, which is a data type to allow when we enter the age to allow it to treat it as a whole number or age. And then here we say input function enter age. So it's going to say something like hi, and I'm just going to say print. And your age is plus, and here I'm going to put age, just like this here. You'll notice that here I'm going to have to use a string again. So here I'm going to have to use a string. So I'm going to copy the string here, just like this here. Okay, and I think I'm going to name one more closing parentheses. Yes. Okay, something like that. Okay, let's go ahead and run this here. So if I go ahead and run this here, it's going to say enter your first name, enter your last name, enter your age, and here it's going to say, hi, Jason Sim, your age is 45. Okay, now you see another data type on number 9 right here. It says float. A float is basically where you can use actually number values, okay, with decimals. So as you can see here, I put some calculating some examples here, right? So here it's going to say income. So I'm going to add the income here. Income, that's a variable, equals float. So I can use that float as a data type to enter numbers or decimal points. So I'm going to say input, and here I'm going to say enter income, something like that. So we got another one here. All right, so now here I'm going to say print the income. So I'm going to say print income is plus convert the string into a float. And here I'm going to type in income, just like this here. Now you'll notice that I put a dollar sign since it is a dollar value. So here I'm going to put a dollar value and then execute the program. Enter your first name, enter your last name, enter your age, enter your income. And you'll notice that here we have the output just like this here. So as you can see, it puts a decimal point because here we have a float data type. And then we can go ahead and close that. So we can actually calculate information also, or data, I should say. So let me go ahead and close this. And you'll notice that calculating, I put basically income, enter your income, and then I have a bonus here. So let's say, for example, I'm going to say bonus equals, let's say $1,200. Okay, so that's going to be 1,200 bucks. Okay, bonus equals 1,200 bucks. And then here I can do I can say pay equals income plus bonus. Okay, just like this here. All right, so now I have my income here. I have my bonus here. And this pay variable is going to contain the calculation of my income and 1,200 bucks. So here I'm going to print again income with bonus concatenation string, and here I'm going to say pay. So as you can see right there. Okay. So we want to print the pay because the pay equals the income plus the bonus. So if I go ahead and run this here again, and type in my first name, copy my income, And here, as you can see, I got my 101,000 right here based on the calculation of 1,200. Okay. So here we say income plus the actual bonus here. All right. Now there's something called a /n, which is a character sequence, which basically means next line. So next line means I want to format, let's say, for example, I want to format, let's say, the first name and the last name. So here, if I go ahead and run this one more time, okay, there we go. So you notice that here it says hi Jason Sim. So right here it says hi Jason Sim on that one line. Okay. Now, if you look at this here, it says hi Jason Sim. So here is Jason and then Sim. And so what I could do is use a character sequence of basically /n. So here, if I do a /n, it's going to put last name on the second line. Let's see if that works. Okay, so as you can see, it says hi, Jason, and then as you can see, the /n here makes Sim go to the next line. So the more /n's you put, the more it's going to go to the next line. Okay. So I put some examples right here. Here are some challenge exercises that you can do, but you do not have to submit them. So, okay. All right. So here are some other exercises that you can do. But this video basically shows you how to use, number one, the print statement. Number two, variables. So these are my variables. So remember, variables are names that you can put into memory. How to use the string function. How to use the input function. I might have went over that. And also how to calculate. So I can see it's very easy to calculate based on any programming language. And also, obviously, the output, which I think I already said. Okay. All right. Go ahead. I will highly recommend you to complete this lecture here. There are some other things here, but go ahead. I think once you finish this, go ahead and complete the class exercise number 1. Have a great day, everyone.